On Wednesday, the Venezuelan Armed Forces deployed the Republic Plan to guarantee the safety of citizens and to secure the process of the upcoming regional and legislative elections of May 25th. In the face of destabilization attempts by the far-right opposition unveiled by the government in the past week, the Republic operation aims at securing the democratic exercise with the deployment of 412,000 troops nationwide. In addition, a total of 1,419 senior and regional prosecutors will guarantee the progress of the strategic election across the 15,748 election centers. The Operation Quick Start, headed by the sectoral Vice President of Political Sovereignty, Security and Peace, Vladimir Padrino, seeks to ensure the safety of over 21.5 million Venezuelans called to vote at 27,736 polling stations across the country on May 25th.
From the National Electoral Council, this is a symbolic act, and it also marks a milestone in the electoral calendar, which we have been working hard on since the call for this electoral process. Let us remember that there are two elections in the same electoral process, where 569 positions will be elected throughout the national territory to elect 285 deputies to the National Assembly for the new constitutional period 2026-2031. We will also be electing 260 deputies to the legislative councils and 24 governors.
Quintero also pointed out that this will be the first election of a governor for the state of Guyana Esequiba.
It marks and reinforces even more the sovereignty because we are electing the first governor of the state of Guyana Esequiba. On the 26th, in the morning, we will have a governor in the state of Guyana Esequiba, 8 deputies to the National Assembly and 7 deputies to the legislative councils. And it is the popular mandate expressed by the people of Venezuela in the consultative referendum of December 3, 2023. We are then closing a cycle of sovereignty and raising the expression of the institutionality of the vote.
As part of the Back to the Homeland plan, Venezuela received a new flight carrying a total of 90 nationals who were sent from Texas in the United States. In the early hours of Wednesday morning, a plane carrying 77 men, 6 women and 7 children landed at Simon Bolivar International Airport in Maiquetía. This was part of the safe return of Venezuelans to their homeland. The state authorities ensured that health and legal security protocols were in place for those deported by Donald Trump's government. A total of 4,192 Venezuelan nationals have returned to the country through the humanitarian plan so far in 2025. Brazil's Chukuru indigenous nation has just finished its 25th annual assembly. Our correspondent in the South American country, Brian Meir, has more.
After 3 days of debates, speeches from visiting politicians and indigenous leaders, and a plenary which produced a collective statement denouncing criminalization of indigenous people in Brazil, Chief Marco Chukuru led thousands of followers on a long march down from the Ururuba Hills into downtown Pesqueira, Pernambuco.
These commitments we carry extend far beyond me. They are for our ancestors, for our Mother Earth, our Mother Nature calls us to continue our mission to watch over, protect, and care for this land that we will return to one day and become one with.
In addition to unifying the Shukuru from over a dozen villages on their 28,000-hectare reserve in the Oruruba Hills, this year's march, marking the end of the assembly, was an important show of political force at a moment in which a group of far-right politicians aligned with ex-President Bolsonaro are using dirty legal maneuvers to try to remove Chief Marcos from office.
We believe nothing could be more fitting, dedicating our 25th Assembly to the issue of criminalization, especially as Chief Marcos, current leader of the Shukuru people and son of Chief Chicao, faces such persecution. And he's not alone. Today, with the rise of social media and an increasingly extreme conservatism, racism has become disturbingly normalized.
In 1998, Chief Marcos's father, Chief Chicao, a beloved leader who led a return to the Shukuru's traditional religion to mobilize his people to fight for their rights, was assassinated by ranchers. This year's annual march was special because for the first time, Chief Marcos led it as the democratically elected mayor of Pesqueira.
We are ending our event today at the location where they murdered Chief Chicao. He died here 27 years ago, on this day. For we Shukuru, this is a moment of pride.
The Shukuru are well aware of the challenges that lie ahead, as a passage from the Assembly's final declaration reads, "From a violated past to a criminalized present, we will resist." Brian Mir, teleSUR, Pesqueira, Pernambuco.
The government of Pakistan announced the expansion of the China-Pakistan economic corridor to Afghanistan. The decision was made following a meeting of the parties in Beijing, where they reaffirmed that trilateral cooperation as a vital platform to promote regional security and economic connectivity. At the meeting, the three foreign ministers discussed the improvement of diplomatic interaction as well as the strengthening and implementation of practical measures to boost trade. The agreement also states that the sixth trilateral foreign ministers meeting will be held in Afghanistan. In Argentina, the government of Javier Milei carried out a new day of police repression against retirees who were protesting in front of the Congress of the Republic. Retirees and social organizations continue to take to the streets demanding the government to urgently increase their salaries given the economic crisis that the country is going through. In this sense, the demonstrators denounced a disproportionate operation of the security forces with tear gas that generated tension and multiple religions. The protest took place hours after the Sabbath was suspended for lack of votes, the debate on an emergency pension increase, and amid the pressure from the government, which is promoting an express landing of capital in dollars while cutting social rights. During the demonstration, two reporters were security police. The 9th Rosh Nicaragua International Pharmaceutical Congress takes place in Managua with the participation of delegations from China, India and Cuba. Under the slogan Strengthening National Biotechnological Capacity, Directing Strategies and Technologies, the Congress addresses public health issues, vaccine production and the strengthening of national biotechnological capacity. More than 300 specialists in pharmacology and at least 30 speakers attend the event to discuss the development, technology transfer, manufacture and distribution of pharmaceutical products in the Latin America region. In this context, one of the main objectives will be to explore strategies to expand the manufacture of drugs and vaccines, not only to meet domestic demand, but also to open up export opportunities. The 10th International Colloquium on Cultural Diversity in the Caribbean is being held in Havana, Cuba from May 19th to the 23rd. The event is hosted by the Casa de las Americas institution and is focused on the significance of archives for the Caribbean intellectuals and cultural projects. It also seeks to strengthen the relations between the body and emotional memories and the archival repertoire of the Caribbean. On the other hand, participants analyze aspects related to the preservation of archives at risk and the strategies to be followed in the face of the environmental crisis. The meeting is attended by renowned specialists such as Haitian researcher Franz Voltaire, the Mexican scholar from the University of Guadalajara, Andrea Trujillo, and other experts from Sweden, Norway, Brazil, Puerto Rico, and Cuba. In the context of the colloquium, the director of the Center for Caribbean Studies of Casa de las Américas, Camila Valdés León, highlighted the relevance of this type of meeting and the importance for all Caribbean countries to be united and see themselves as a shared community.
When we first conceived the project for this conference, that it reaches its 10th edition this time, we decided to look at the past, even though what we are concerned about is the present and the future. By looking at the traces of the past and how they have been interpreted, how they have been read, how they have been fixed through archives, through the archives, is what will allow us to have a better understanding of the challenges we face in the present. I think it is important that we imagine ourselves as a shared space, as a shared community. I mean that we conceive ourselves as a connected region. It is particularly relevant from the moment we are living.
In Bolivia, social movements close to former President Evo Morales announced mobilizations for May 22nd. Through a press conference, they called on their bases to organize themselves for the mobilization, emphasizing that they would defend the democracy of the Bolivian people and the national economy. Likewise, the support of the peasant sector comes in response to Morales' call for a great national union to support his presidential aspirations. However, the sentence of May 14th of the National Constitutional Tribunal informed that the former President Evo Morales could not be a candidate for the elections of next August 17th. Hours before, the former President stated that only the people can ask him to desist from his aspiration and that they are awaiting the pronouncement of the Supreme Electoral Court.
We have a project that we have designed for the short and long terms, therefore we are going to maximize little by little. We are going to add many brothers until democracy and participation are respected within the electoral court.
The closing of the campaigns of the governors and parliamentarians of the Great Patriotic Poll moves forward in Venezuela in view of the May 25th elections. On Wednesday, the campaign began in the state of Barinas, where the candidate for the governorship, Adán Chávez, was supported by the population ahead of Sunday's elections. Meanwhile, the candidate for the governorship of the state of Bolívar, Julisbeth Garcia, also carried out her campaign closing, while in El Vigía state of Mérida, the closing event of the campaign of the candidate Arnaldo Sánchez is taking place. It is expected that in the next days, the closing of the campaign of the Venezuelan parliamentary and regional candidates will continue. Hundreds of people have been rescued in Australia's New South Wales state on Wednesday, but thousands remain stranded after widespread flooding. Police helicopters winched stranded residents from rooftops and emergency service personnel used boats to rescue others, including pets, from the flooded area in and around the state's mid-north coast town of Taré. Thousands of residents have been cut off by floodwaters, while others have lost power and businesses have been inundated. The Manning River in Taré surpassed the 1929 record flood level, peaking at 6.4 meters. On Wednesday, the Venezuelan Armed Forces deployed the Republic Plan to guarantee the safety of citizens and to secure the process of the upcoming regional and legislative elections of May 25th. In the face of destabilization attempts by the far-right opposition unveiled by the government in the past week, the Republic operation aims at securing the democratic exercise with the deployment of 412,000 troops nationwide. In addition, a total of 1,419 senior and regional